Right, today we're going to look at a new phone. Now, this phone was very generously given to me by one of my viewers, and I wanted to show you basically what I'm going to do with it. Now, this is the Motorola Partner. Okay. Now, on the top, on the handset, it actually says it's the Motorola. Can you see that? 4800x. Now, I don't believe this is the 4800x. I don't think this is the genuine handset. One of the reasons I believe that is because there's no switch here. Now, if you look on Motorola 48... That was clever, wasn't it? Okay, let's bring you down anyway. So if you look on the side here, normally you'd get a switch there. And that would say internal stroke external. So that would allow you to use just the battery, or once it's plugged into charge, it would enable you to use directly from the power input as well. You don't get that with this one. The other reason I don't believe this is a genuine 4800 is that, yeah, sure, 4800X fits and the power's up, but none of the buttons work on it. And I believe that's because this is a different handset than the 4500. I suspect this Motorola Partner is a Motorola 4500X. So I'm on the lookout for one of these handsets. I might have one coming my way very soon. Apart from that, you know, it's in very good condition. It's a little bit dirty. Obviously, it's going to be 20 years old, more than 20 years old, 30 years old perhaps. But I mean, everything's intact. The rubber feet are all intact underneath. I've got a charger, which is currently inside the house. The antenna, which is one of the usual things that wear out, that's all intact, fits nicely. Now, obviously, this is an ETACS system, so this won't ever work on the UK GSM networks ever again, unfortunately. A real shame, because you know, you used to be able to get some fantastic phones on ETACS. I've got quite a collection now, and I will show you that collection very soon. But what I want to do with this is to strip it down and give it a bit of a clean up. Now, the battery inside this, I've taken it out. This is the battery pack. It's absolutely massive. So this is actually are these 12 volts or 6? Yeah, okay, so these are two 6 amp battery packs, wired up in series to give 12 volts. And the current for this is 4 amp hours. So, you know, I can't remember offhand how long that lasted, but that's the power anyway. But what I've done, I've taken that battery pack out and I've put in a smaller 12 volt battery, which wires in and works absolutely fine. Like I say, the mains charger plugs in, works as it should do, apart from the fact that it's potentially the wrong handset. So what I'm going to do now is to get this stripped down and make a start on cleaning it up. Right, let's do this.
AdWords campaigns, drive traffic to your site, increase sales, everything you need to know, and all for the price of lunch. You can take the courses at any time.
Babe,
What?
I don't think that's what he meant.
So we can motivate you.
Personal training business. The way I got started was I went to a thrift shop and I found a triple head machine. So it cost $75 and $30. It's not much, but if I had 10 of them, on top of just everything else, I'm glad the people that I knew. And yeah.
Roughly, how many meat?
While I sleep right now,
What's the biggest obstacle at this moment? Vending machine away.
Sometimes just to get through. So it's kind of like we help each other out. But recently, for 7 years, he was number 42. He played with the Chargers. He does something
You're gonna make me want to donate money. All right, so we're talking about goals. What grows?
Well, I probably have about
M&M's.
Say because it's location to location is different. Some are
You're expanding into sodas, correct? You're trying to?
yeah, I just got a soda.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, now I've shipped it down, is you want to give these a really good clean, all these parts here. So I'm going to wear my gloves because I don't want to get my hands too dirty. And also because I'm going to be handling wire wool, it can be slightly irritating on the hands. This really is the best way to clean these up.
A vending machine. Would you just go?
I usually like to watch a lot of action movies. That's why I
If I ever become famous,
think about what you think about too much, and you'll talk yourself out of it. Sometimes you can be like this other little boy telling you all the things. Hard is hard, but inch by inch, anything's a cinch. So, you know, if you say you can achieve it, just
interview him. Yeah. That's cool. Sure, where'd you get that? Oh yeah. I wish you would make more though. You know. One step
Okay, so I've given all these items a bit of a clean down. I've got all the dust off, all the bits of sticker and all the muck. Give them a bit of a wash as well. So what we're going to do now is to spray them. Now I want to make sure that I don't get any marks once I sprayed. So I need some sort of handle. So I'm going to hot glue gun the screw underneath, so I can hold the screw, spray it, and then I can rest the screw down in a vise just to hold it until it dries. So let's see if the hot glue works, shall we? So far so good with that one. Okay, that should do that for the moment. The next thing then is to find some spray. I'm going to go for satin black. 5-year protection, Hammerite. Supposed to be good stuff, so let's give this a go. Right, so I always do that in a well ventilated place. So the main metal components are now sprayed. They're ready, drying. I think they're going to need a second coat, but I'm not too worried about that at the moment. I've got plenty of paint. And what I'm going to do now is to give this body here a good clean. This I'm going to be using warm soapy water, possibly a few cleaning chemicals in stubborn areas, but generally it's in very good, neat condition. It's not going to need a lot of tidying up at all. So I've disconnected the plastic from the metal as much as I can. Like I said, I don't need to spray this at all. This aluminium frame is absolutely perfect. Just a bit dirty, and I know for a fact that's going to be just good. So let's give that a go then. So I've got a bit of a repair to do here. So whilst taking off the cup which holds the handset, 2 bits of plastic broke off. Obviously it's old, you could say it's a bit brittle really, but by looking at these here, where the screws hold into place, it should look more like that, but it's not, it's that, because there's little plastic things came off. So I'm just going to glue these back into place. Not a big job, but still one that's going to make a big difference later on down the line. Okay, so first one goes on like so. And the second one goes on. They go on really easily because they just kind of fall. They just kind of fall into place. You can see that there. Because they're all in one piece. So I'm going to leave that now for a few hours to dry. With everything else. And then we can continue putting back together. One thing I've noticed, forgot about that, didn't I? I forgot that that needs to spray as well. Perfect. Right. Cool. Okay, we're going to come back to this a little bit later on, and we'll have a look, see how it's getting on. Right, okay then, welcome back. So this is now the next day. Did this spraying yesterday of parts of this phone. I was having a bit of a clean up yesterday, so behind the scenes yesterday I didn't film, but I actually stripped the handset down, gave that a right good clean, got all the dust and the grime outside of the speaker panel, outside of the microphone and earpiece. That's all nice and fresh and clean, ready to go. Put all this back together, which you've seen. I had to glue part of the cradle yesterday as well. That's now been cleaned, fastened on, nice and secured. And I have to say, this has just come up so well. It's almost as good as new. You know, there's no marks, no scratches, no sticky label grime. There's nothing on this at all. In here, I've done a temporary job with the battery. I've got a smaller battery. In fact, what I've done, I've got a few of these spare batteries here. These are 12 volt lead acid batteries, which are designed for this telephone. Got a few of these, so what I've done, I've just done a temporary job and soldered some tabs on, and just thrown it in there. And to keep it secure, I've just put some bubble wrap around it just to hold it in place, just for test purposes. So what I need to do now is start building the transceiver back up. It's the spray job I've done, I'm actually really pleased with. Let me bring it over to you. It's not quite the same as when you buy a brand new one. However, it's still a lovely job. I'm very pleased with it. You probably can't tell, but it's quite a smooth paint job there, and it just makes it look a little bit fresher. The end panels and such like there. And this is the one that had the most dents on. This is the far end panel that holds the antenna. That had quite a lot of scratches and dents on. That's come up particularly well, so I'm very pleased with that one. So what I need to do is to get it put back in together. First things first, I think I'm going to put on this battery pack cover. Let's bring you down a bit for this. So as you can see, that needs an end putting on. So if I just push all the bubble wrap and everything out of the way, where was I? Oh yeah, okay. So we're going to put the battery case and clip back onto here. Now the only thing I've not done is to spray the screw heads. Did contemplate doing that, but then I thought probably not really worth the trouble. So we'll see how it looks. I can always do them at a later date if it requires. There we go. Adds a lovely finish having these resprayed. And then the next thing to do is to get the transceiver put back together. That's going to be the trickiest part, although not difficult. Right, there we go. Doesn't look too bad, does it? I could always give these a bit more of a clean and maybe dab a bit of paint on if I wanted to, but I'm not that fussed about those screws. I'm happy with the way it looks so far. So that's that then. So let's now let's do the transceiver next. So yesterday I spent some time stripping this down and spraying. So what I need to do is to take off this masking tape. Now what I could have done, if I'd wanted to, is to take out the circuit board from inside. But I didn't, because it didn't really seem worth the hassle. It could have been done, it wouldn't have been difficult, but there's two boards, quite a lot of screws, and the time it was going to take me, I didn't see any sort of benefit to doing that. So what I need to do first of all is to get, I think, the first end cap on, which holds the antenna. Now each cap has one of these, and then this is my little output here. So I think what I need to do, I don't think that's going to be difficult. Find my bolts and my washer. This is going to be the hardest part, even though that was really incredibly easy to do. That holds into place. Put the washer on. And put that on the right way round. James, that will be helpful. Like I say, none of this is particularly difficult. And at this stage, it's not even tricky. There's nothing difficult about what I've done. So, we're happy with that. So, screws facing in. And then that one there will go on that side. And then we need to just get these screwed in. Right, now hopefully this spraying that I've done wouldn't have affected things too much with regards to the holes. If you consider how old these telephones are, they're actually in very good condition. The whole phone is in really good condition for its age. You can't fault it really. And also, you know what, we're talking sort of 20, 25, 30 years, maybe a little bit older. And you know what, you'd be very troubled to get a smartphone still working as well as these do after this sort of age. Obviously, it's not exactly the same comparison, because the computer is a little bit more technical, a bit more complicated, isn't it? But still, there you go. And then, of course, I've got the stickers. Well, it's actually just the one sticker in this case that needs to go back into place. Not that it could be seen. However, let's get the branding in. Motorola. Still sticky enough, I think, to hold, is it? Or will that need gluing? No, I think there's enough stickiness in there. There we go. Look at that. Almost as good as new. So, same again this side, guys. Just put the We put that in, then we put that on. That's not gone in as well as I'd hoped it would. It's down to ruin my pieces. Right, and there we have it, guys. There we have it. The antenna screws in like so. Move that out of the way now, don't need you anymore. And one transceiver. Looking pretty damn good. That end might get a bit of a rub down. I had a bit of a mishap with this. Long story, but bit of a mishap when it was drying. So when it's completely dry, because it's still not completely dry, once it is, I might just give that end cap a bit of a rub down and respray. Okay, so what we now need to do is to carefully, in position, make sure that's unlocked. Lock that into place. That holds that in. Wire that in like so. And we're done. As good as new. So, like I said yesterday, I don't believe this is the right handset. I believe that this transportable kit actually, yes, I believe that this actually is a 4500, but it's got a 4800x handpiece, telephone piece. So it turns on. If you look at the screen, it's if you can see that, it shows you got power and you've got no service, which is understandable. But you know, none of the keys actually work, won't register. But that's, like I say, is down to compatibility. But I'm pretty pleased with that. Let's have a closer look. So there we go, guys. Power light up. Antennas on, handsets in place. Nice. Almost better than new, I would say. Look at that. It's beautiful. Beautiful example of an old retro phone. So one thing that I was impressed with is that this telephone came with the original 240-volt power charger. So this plugs into the back like so, placing this on charge. Now, the other great thing about this is that this charger is also compatible with my old 2200. So this one can take advantage of the charger, because I didn't have a spare house charger to go with this. I could charge it from the car, no problems at all, because I've got a car lead. But I didn't have a house charger, because it's not just a 12 volt, it requires something like 13.4 volts to charge. So a 12 volt power supply is just not enough to kick this into charge. However, from a car that's running, with an engine running, obviously you get that. So there you have it. So this is a 2200. This is the 45/4800. It's a shame that I can't actually get this one to work to make it usable, because do you know what, to carry around, both are bricks, admittedly, but this is a little bit more cumbersome, because you have to first of all try and pick it up by the handle, and I actually almost dropped it when I was collecting it from the house this morning. This one is just so much easier just to grab and pick up. This one is a little bit more kind of, got to be careful your knuckles on there, and then obviously you want to try and get the aerial up. With this device, the antenna's permanently up, and it's literally a pick and grab. To answer this, it's a lot easier just to pick up that handset With this one, you have to press in that button there on the side. It's just a little button there that has to be pressed in to answer. Yeah, again, it's no great hardship, but it's another consideration, isn't it? So this one works nicely, charges up beautifully, and this one's going to sit in the museum with the others. And as soon as I've got myself a new handset, I'll have a change around. I've got this old handset here. Now this is also a 4800X handset, but it's got a slightly different keypad on it. So the one on the left seems to be a slightly older one, I believe, but has the same functionality as this. So it's not a faulty handset. It does require 4800. So as soon as I can get one, and as soon as I can get any more parts for any of these kits, then I should be doing upgrades as and when I can. But there you go. Right, thank you for watching. I hope that's been of some interest to you. I shall be getting more videos out very soon, showing some other old phones. I do have a few more phones coming my way very soon. Again, old antique ones. I've got a 3200 Motorola coming. That's a GSM phone, so I'm looking forward to getting that. I think I might need to do a little bit of work on that one to get it running, but I know that I will be able to. And that's it really, guys. So I'll see you in my next video. Take care.